Up to now, the only way to focus a cinema lens like this was use a follow focus system and do it manually, or have someone pull focus for you using a focus pull system like this. And that's not a big deal if you're working with a crew and you have somebody dedicating to pulling focus. But if you're working by yourself, it becomes considerably more challenging to keep 1 or 2 or 3 cameras focused on a subject. But all of that changed just now as Viltrox introduced their NexusFocus system. And just to be clear, Viltrox did send this to me to test, review, and to keep, but they're not paying for or sponsoring this video in any other way. The NexusFocus system does something pretty incredible. It takes any PL lens like this, and through their adapter and the focus motor makes it an autofocus lens on any E-Mount camera. Now, other lens mounts might be coming, but for now, it's just E-Mount. But let's take a look at what you get in the box if you buy this system. So you get a focus calibration chart, which will be important. We'll look at that in just a bit. And then you have the NexusFocus F1 system. Inside, you have the PL mount adapter to E-Mount, which seems relatively normal until you look and you see that it has a display up here, several buttons, a USB port, and another USB port. This is for firmware upgrades. That's why it says DFU. And then you also get 1, 2, or if you get the zoom package, you'll actually get a 3rd focus motor, and you can control zoom, iris, and focus all through the motors. This package only has 2, so we're gonna be able to control iris and focus. Then, of course, you get USB-C cables that go from the unit to the focus motors or to the different fizz motors. And you also get a power supply, which is D-tap to USB-C. Now, they also have this F1 power box, but this is only to be used with DJI gimbals or with other gimbals where you need to get power out of the gimbal and to the unit. So don't use this if you're just using it like I'm going to use it today, which is just setting it up on a camera. But what does it take to get this system set up and calibrated to work with something like the A7V and this manual cinema lens? So you're going to need a few things besides your camera and your lens. And basically that's a plate with some sort of rod support, a couple of rods. I've got these carbon fiber ones, a tripod plate, of course. I'm going to use a V-mount to power everything. So this is a little V-mount adapter. And depending on the size and weight of your lens, you might want some sort of lens support. Of course, a V-mount is also helpful. That good and tight. Put this on. All right, there we go. Now that we have a basic rig built out, we can start installing the Viltrox NexusFocus system. That. I'm just going to use this to see which one of these motors is what. So that is, so that you can tell where the light is, that this is the iris. Focus is on this side. Now you can install either of these motors on either side. It doesn't really matter. I had to install them this way because they wouldn't fit right together. The important thing is that when you wire them together, you want the unit to go from power to the focus motor first, then to the iris motor, and then to the lens mount. Pull in our lens support. And then it's a matter of routing this. You have in and out. So we're gonna go in, power, out here, and go in, and then out, and then into the system there. Obviously these cables can be tidied up a little bit, but basically that's the way you want to go. Focus motor first, iris, then zoom, then into the unit. Now that everything's set up and plugged in, we just need to set up and calibrate the lens, which is pretty easy using the Viltrox NexusFocus app. And that's what this calibration chart is for. Here, I open up the app, go to library. There's no lens, so I'm gonna add a lens, and you can enter this here. Now, Viltrox will be developing a database where you can just download lens profiles. This is early on, so they didn't have one for this lens. This is kind of a unique lens, the IRIX 65mm. But I'm going to put it in here. So you put in all the information. 5 to 16, 2 feet. Save. Now we're going to calibrate the aperture scale. So, and what you're doing is setting it to where, basically right now it's at 16, confirm. And then you want to move it to where the next few dots are. So right there is 11. 8. 5.6. 4. And you can fine tune it with the button, the slide on the bottom, 2.8. 2 and 1.5. So there we have the entire aperture scale is set. I'm going to save that. You can see it as a blue check mark, and then we're going to go focus motor. Right there, that's infinity. We'll start working backwards. There is 30 feet. And none of this matters as far as the focus chart goes. You're just inputting where all the markings are on the lens so that the lens knows where different points are, or that the mount. 2 feet, 6 inches. And you can do this in imperial or metric. Just depends on what you put it in the beginning of the lens. 2 feet, 3 inches. There's the minimum focus distance of 2 feet. Confirm there. We'll go save. And now we've got 2 blue dots. So the iris and the focus have been calibrated, or the scales have been calibrated. So now we want to go to focus parameter calibration. You want to have it in movie mode, no subject detection. You want to have it be center fixed, which is what I've got it set on. Place the focus chart, same height, directly in front. Move the focus chart back and forth until peaking appears on the camera. So this is the part where we'll slide the camera back and forth just a little bit to get the focus chart perfectly in focus. Another thing you want to do is make sure that there's plenty of light on the focus chart, because especially when it starts calibrating the higher aperture values or the higher t-stop values, it gets more and more difficult. And then make sure your ISO is in auto mode, and they want your shutter in auto mode too. But yeah, just so that the camera can see everything it needs to see. For me, I'm going to just blast a bunch of light over here and let it kind of roll. And then it's as simple as hitting start calibration. You'll see it go through a system where it shows you a bunch of different stuff on your lens here. And I'm going to go ahead and crank the light on this. And now the calibration's completed. It should be able to autofocus on anything close by. All right, let's go test this out. In my process of learning how to calibrate this system, there's one issue I discovered, that if you don't have it set correctly, it'll mess you up. And on the front of each focus motor is a left and right, and that denotes which side of the camera the focus motor is on, but it doesn't necessarily make sense. So if you run into a time where your motor is hunting back and forth, no matter what you do, it doesn't calibrate right, it just hunts back and forth instead of going to the minimum focus distance where it should start, then that's because it's set to the wrong side. So switch that direction and it should clear that up. And from there, everything should work normally. So you can turn a subject detection back on, you can use tap to focus, basically use it exactly like you would a normal camera, and you can operate the iris control from the camera just like you would a native Sony lens. So how's this looking? Is it catching my eye? Is it catching my eye? That's pretty amazing. In my testing, this system works extremely well. There's a couple of things you need to know about it, but it works just like any native lens. The eye detect works, the tap to focus works, and it follows through really well. Now, one of the things you need to know is that because this is using focus motors, the focus is not going to be anywhere near as fast and snappy as like the native lenses with voice coil motors and stuff like that. That's just physically not possible. but it does follow through really well. I would be totally comfortable in using this to track a subject that's moving at, you know, relatively normal rates of speed, or using this to keep focus locked on somebody in an interview situation. This would work extremely well because it just, I mean, it works like a native lens, which is really cool. And one of the coolest things is, because once you have the calibration file set in the mount, it stores it in the mount, then you can take that mount, you can take the mount and move it to other cameras. So I could take this mount and put it on my FX6 with this lens, and it would work just like a native lens on the FX6 as well. So super cool, especially as Viltrox builds out their lens database, or as you build your own database out or calibrate your own lenses. You don't have to worry about doing it multiple times on different cameras. It's all there ready to go. This was through a Kickstarter, and I wasn't able to get this video out in time for the Kickstarter, but there will be links in the description that will link to the various places that have it as soon as it starts to come in stock, which I think should be fairly soon. So Amazon, B&H, Adorama, Viltrox's own storefront, stuff like that. Some of those will be affiliate links. Those don't cost you anything extra, but they do help me out. What do you think of something like this? I know it's not for everybody, but definitely if you're a solo creator like I am and you like to use cinema lenses in certain situations, like this is a incredibly powerful piece of gear. And it's cool to see things like this coming to market that are really, truly game-changing. It feels like the camera market is kind of plateaued in general as far as the features coming on new cameras and stuff like that. It's more iterative changes. This is something that really is somewhat groundbreaking in how it works, and I'm super excited to see more stuff like this come to market. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. But next, you're going to watch this video right here. I'll see you over there. As always, if you have questions, ask me in the comments below, or join my live stream, which happens most Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We can have more of a conversation. I can answer questions that maybe I didn't get to in this video. I'll see you again soon in the next one. Cheers.